What's going on, Michelin Gamers? It is Benser, and today we are going to be ranking all of the ammo mods within Cold War Zombies. Yep, every single one. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, all that cool nonsense. Speaking of that, shout out to Zols, PZ, and Robbie Peak. They subscribe to me, and if you do, I'll shout you out just like them. And if you don't, Officer Weaver will come to your house and lick you. Yeah, so you better do it. But check out the Discord in the description, all that nonsense, get it out of the way. But on that, gamers, let's dive right into the video. Alright, well, I think we can get this out of the way. Napalm Burst is the worst ammo mod of Cold War Zombies. I don't know anybody who genuinely uses this, and if you do, well, I'm sorry. Bullets deal fire damage. Each bullet has a chance to apply a burn effect on normal enemies, dealing 10% of their maximum health and fire damage over 5 seconds with a 3-second cooldown. Seems pretty great, right? That doesn't seem that bad. Let's go over the tiers, though. Tier 1, initial burn effect deals 5% of enemy maximum health and fire damage. This is pretty alright, it's just 5%. Tier 2 is increased burn duration to 10 seconds, so a little bit more of a charring effect. You get to be able to deal a little bit more damage, that's the whole thing of the ammo mod. Tier 3 is double the burning effect damage. Now this is where things actually spice up for it, and actually where it makes Napalm Burst somewhat usable. It's not the best, but at least you're able to use it and actually be sufficient, I guess. Tier 4 is special enemies burn. So when you go against megatons, manglers, all those sort of bad guys, they're going to burn too. Not very much. Keep that in mind. But they still burn. Tier 5, on the other hand, is on a burned enemy kill, the enemy explodes, spreading the effect to 5 nearby normal enemies. This is pretty alright, but it really never happens. At least for me, I've never genuinely seen where this spreads. And even when it does, it doesn't do that much damage. I know I went over the statistics and you're like, wow, that actually sounds pretty alright. It's not. It's like this really bad burn effect that's really sad. It's like Dragon's Breath, but like the slow one in the head, his cousin, was on an ammo mod. And that's really it for, this ammo mod. It's not that good. Let's get into tier 4, the 4th tier. Alright, so for our 4th spot we have Cryofreeze. Now ultimately this is just the opposite of Napalm Burst, fire, ice. You think it'd be good, but it used to until it got nerfed. It's not so good anymore. The tiers on this are actually a bit better than Napalm Burst, but nonetheless they still are lackluster. Tier 1 for this is slowed enemies take 25% more damage. So when the chance that it triggers and pops off, the enemies are just going to be a little bit slower. They can actually slow down zombies if they're the head in the crowd, which is actually pretty nice, especially when you're going against armored zombies, which are a little bit more chunky, and also they won't bum rush you because they're armored zombies, which is pretty nice. It slows them down pretty well. Tier 2 is slowed enemy duration increased to 5 seconds. This just helps it a little bit more. I think the original status effect is about 3 seconds, so you get about 5 seconds, and you can usually kill enemies within a 5-second period if you're not bad or live under a rock or something. Tier 3, on the other hand, is slowed enemy speed decreased to 50%. So ultimately they're already slowed down. But at this point, they're not moving. They're stuck in place. It's just, there's no way they're going to run away from you. It's just not going to happen. Tier 4, special enemies can be slowed. This is basically just a copy and paste of Napalm Burst. I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're about the same. So, yeah. Tier 5, on a slowed enemy killed, the enemy shatters, spreading the slowed effect to 5 nearby normal zombies. You can't do this with megatons, manglers, tempest, the whole list. You can't do it with them. But with regular zombies, you can. Unfortunately, I would say Napalm Burst is better, but the effects of Cryofreeze last longer and they do more in terms of effect. And it also triggers on elemental pop a little bit more, so that's why it's a little bit higher. Let's get into the 3rd ammo mod. Deadwire is going to be number 3 on our list. Deadwire is a ammo mod that will affect up to 9 zombies, including the one which you shoot, giving it a maximum of about 9 kills per activation. It's actually one below the Wonderwaff, so the more you know. It's basically just the Wonderwaff in your weapon, so pretty great stuff we're talking about here. It has infinite damage, so really useful on those higher rounds. There's ones that are a little bit higher, at least for me, I believe. But Deadwire is one of those more higher round super use that are actually really, really good. It has a lot of good upgrades, and That's what really makes it what it is. I mean, overall, the bullets deal electric damage. Each bullet has the chance to stun normal enemies for 2 seconds with a 15-second cooldown. Not too bad when you really speak about it. 15 seconds ain't too bad, and that 2 seconds lasts a long time. Let's get into tiers though. Tier 1 is stunned enemies generate an electric field, dealing electric damage to self and nearby enemies. Ultimately, you'll see in this gameplay, I shoot enemies and then they'll bzzz, and then they're stuck. That is this. Really good tier 1. One you should definitely invest in if you don't have it, which I don't know why you don't, but yeah, that's besides the point. Tier 2 is increased stun duration to 4 seconds, so rather than 2, it's 4. Really good. I really like this one a lot because if you're in a pin situation where you're stuck in a corner, this is the one tier that'll actually get you out fairly quickly, and it'll give you a kind of a second chance, like a saving grace. Really good on shotguns, also with submachines as well, which I use in this gameplay as shown. Tier 3 is double the electric field damage. So tier 1, it's just building off of that. You have more of an actual area of effect. You can hit a little bit more zombies. You have a little bit more range overall. Really great tier in my opinion. Tier 4, special enemies can be stunned. This is one of the best parts about this actual ammo mod. It has an effect on boss zombies. Now I know you're saying the other ones have this too. Well, this stuns the bosses, which is really good and does some damage on top of that. Tier 5, on stun, arcs electricity jump and spread to stun 5 nearby zombies. Similar to Cryofreeze and Napalm Strike, this one's a little bit more useful just because, well, you can do a lot more in a lot less amount of time. You get about 4 seconds, so having that extra little bit of time and stunning a whole arc of zombies is really useful, and in my opinion is really great. It used to be a lot better, but it got nerfed a while back, so let's get into tier 2 gamers. Now this may be controversial, but mine for this spot, number 2, is going to be Brain Rot. Brain Rot is really great, can have a lot of good abilities, especially when you upgrade the tiers. Overall, it's really good, activates the most elemental pop as well, the more you know. Tier 1 for this is going to be turned enemies exploding on death, deal toxic damage. Think of this as a plague hound. Just that. It does a little bit of extra damage. Zombies are affected by it, bosses are as well. Tier 2 for this, increased turn duration for 20 seconds. This is probably one of the best parts of the tier tree, and it's fairly cheap, only coming at 2 Ethereum, which is really good. You know, they last way longer, which helps a lot. Tier 3, turn enemies damage is double, pretty straightforward. If you're doing 20,000, it's now 40,000. Really good. Beats all the other ones, besides one, which, you know, you probably already know what it is. Tier 4, special enemies can be turned. Mimics, manglers, not mimics, but manglers and disciples. This works really good. Tier 5, on turned enemy death, the turned enemy explosion turns 3 nearby enemies. It could be manglers, it can be disciples. It'll turn them into turned, which is really good. It allows for this to be actually a lot more useful than, say, all the other 3 below. But speaking of that, let's get into the one above it, which is Shatter Blast. I love this ammo mod. It is so good. Everything about it amazing. With the recent buffs to it within Season 4 and now 5, it is amazing for Outbreak, Marauder, Totem, D-Machine, Firebreak, all of it. It's amazing, okay? Now, why is it amazing? Tier 1 is Explosion also deals damage to nearby enemies. So, an initial impact will do the most, and then nearby enemies will also take some damage as well, and they can die from this as well, too. Tier 2, all normal enemy armor damaged by explosion is destroyed. See, with this, it destroys all of the armor. It's not just a little bit, it tears it up, which is so nice, especially on those higher rounds when you have a ton of armored zombies. Tier 3, normal enemies damaged by explosions are knocked down. This is ultimately like you're teleporting through the dark ether portals. They get knocked down, it takes them a second to get up. It's really good. It seems really bland and boring, but let me tell you guys something, it is one of the best. I really do like this one in particular just because the knockdown effect can save you a lot, especially when the super sprinters are out at about round 55. It has saved me a ton, and a lot of people like this in particular. It knocks down normal and armored zombies, unfortunately not others like the specials or the like manglers and mimics. You know, sucks, but hey, that's how it works. Tier 5. On explosion, 3 additional staggered explosions occur in close proximity. Sort of like Tier 1, it's just upgraded, as you can see right there. Tons of little mini explosions go off. It kills armored zombies. It'll damage manglers a ton, killing them possibly, depending on how high the weapon is and the rarity and the damage output that you're actually putting out. Really great tier. One of my actual favorites. Out of all of the ammo mods, I'd put this at least in my top 3. And I don't like to be the bland people who just put tier 5s in them. But this is a really good ammo mod. If you don't run it, please run it. I know I do like it turned a lot and I've talked about it. But Shatter Blast, statistically speaking, is a ton, long shot better than Brain Rot. Brain Rot's good, don't get me wrong, but Shatter Blast, this is where you want to be, alright? Alright, but if you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe, check out the Discord, all that, you know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a wonderful day. See ya.